So what you're seeing on the screen now is what the WWE was in 2010. John Cena against the Nexus. Now, this was something which, it was bad. It really was. There's no real other words to put it besides bad. Like, the whole thing was just, it was a letdown. It was a bit of a disaster at points. It led to a burial. The whole thing was just all to put Cena over. It wasn't for the young guys. It was all for John Cena, the face of the WWE. Like, this whole Nexus thing, like, I've been wanting to talk about it for a while, and I haven't had a clue how to do this video. Do I do like a wrestling's premiere or a wrestling GIFs video where they kind of run through everything that happened in a really entertaining way for you viewers? Or do I do a video where I talk, just rant about it? Or do I just talk about why it was so bad? Which I think I'm going to do the third option, because that's how I run this channel. Pretty much this whole thing with Cena and the Nexus. Like, when you take the talent of NXT from 2010, that first crop of NXT, when you take that talent and you put them all in a group and have them take over the WWE, right there, I have an issue with that. Because, realistically, these are rookies who, for the most part, they're nobodies. They're jobbers, they're losers, they're unknowns. Justin Gabriel, David Otunga, Heath Slater, Michael Tarver, Darren Young, those guys are just, they have no credibility. They're all clowns. Barrett and Skip Sheffield, or Ryback as he would later be known, they're credible, they're legit looking, but those 5 guys, no one could care less about them. They had no charisma. Heath Slater has some, but for the most part, none of them have any charisma. None of them intimidate you at all. And so they're out here beating up Chris Jericho, Edge, Orton, Triple H, Vince, Bret Hart, every commentator, every legend, Cena every week. Like, I didn't like it at all. And coinciding with that, this was a WWE in 2010, which one of the main storylines, if not the main storyline, was heel Michael Cole and the anonymous Raw General Manager. That was this time period in 2010. This was, I've just received an anonymous Raw General Manager email, so I'm checking my email. Like, it was Michael Cole doing that pompous heel, just that persona that was so hard to watch, it made me want to turn the show off. Literally, it was so bad. Heel Michael Cole, he made all of this worse, because he was campaigning for the Nexus throughout this, for the most part. But literally, this whole Nexus thing, it began when the Nexus all just beat down Straight Edge Society, which Punk tells a hilarious story of that in The Art of Wrestling from years back, where he says that, like, they had wind, Gallows and him had wind that the Nexus were coming in, they were doing some angle, but they didn't really know. So Punk, when he's coming back from a laser eye surgery, he's telling people, I don't want to be working, but if I am, make sure no one hits me in the eyes. And then the Nexus come out and he gets hit in the eyes by one of the Nexus guys. Like, great stuff, but this whole Nexus thing, it began there, and then you had Daniel Bryan choke Justin Roberts with a tie, so Bryan was fired. Then the whole thing just broke down to chaos. The Nexus came out each week saying that they're the future, they're here to take over, they're sick of everything, they're the new, they're the now, they're the Nexus, they're next. Like, this whole thing, and it was just bad. It just really was bad, because, as I said before, David Otunga, Justin Gabriel, Darren Young, Heath Slater, and Michael Tarver. Those guys were built as legit, dominant, unstoppable monsters for months, until Cena just beat them all one by one and made them look like clowns. Genuinely, that was what we had to deal with in WWE in 2010. A WWE in 2010, which I dare say was the most PG or G-rated and corny it ever was. This was a WWE in 2010 which had a pay-per-view named Fatal 4-Way. I'll let that breathe for a second. WWE had a pay-per-view named Fatal 4-Way. Okay. Also, you just look at the SummerSlam poster and the pay-per-view posters. Like, I know it's a pretty lame kind of thing to bring up, but look how corny and G-rated they all look. Like, well, after WrestleMania 26, like, some of these things, like, especially the Fatal 4-Way poster and the SummerSlam poster, like, oh my god. Anyway, that's completely irrelevant. But the Nexus, this whole thing, like, they're main eventing SummerSlam, and the way they booked that was dreadful. A 7-on-7 elimination tag match? Are you kidding me? A 7-on-7 elimination tag team match? The only good part of that was Daniel Bryan returning after being fired 6 weeks earlier. Like, the pop Bryan got was great, and it set the foundation for Bryan against The Miz and Bryan's future run in the WWE, because the crowd was so over for him, but on the whole, The whole Nexus thing was set up so John Cena could bury them. That was all the Nexus was. And it's a joke. Like, you look at Wade Barrett and Skip Sheffield, Ryback, both of those guys should have been multiple-time world champions. There's no reason why they shouldn't. Like, both of them are entertaining, they're charismatic. I'm not saying Ryback's a god on the mic, but he's funny. He's entertaining, okay? Just let him be himself, which, granted, WWE don't like guys to be themselves, but Ryback the person is funny. He's a funny guy. He's also dominant looking, loves his steroids, looks super legit, looks like he could dominate you. Granted, looks like Goldberg a lot, but he looks really dominating and scary if you book him the right way. So he should have been world champion multiple times. Instead, he was just the muscle in the Nexus, and he got beaten easily by Cena week in, week out from after SummerSlam through TLC. Like, Cena would make him look like a chump, just like the rest of the Nexus. And then you had Michael Tarver. Okay? Michael friggin' Tarver, alongside Heath Slater, David Otunga, Justin Gabriel, and Darren Young. They all main evented SummerSlam. Let's not forget, I know it was part of the Nexus angle, but let's not forget, Michael Tarver, Heath Slater, David Otunga, Justin Gabriel, and Darren Young main evented a SummerSlam and were the key piece of WWE television for 6 months, okay? 6 months of that. Like, Wade Barrett, he should have been a superstar in the company. Like, it's sad to see where he is now, where he's commentating NWA. Like, this guy should have been, or he should still be, a main eventer in the company. The fact that you let talent like that fall through the cracks the way they did. Like, Barrett never won a world championship. He was a perennial mid-carder. Like, he was Intercontinental Champion a couple of times, and that was it. That was Wade Barrett in the WWE. Like, that's unforgivable. This is Wade Barrett, and you use him like that? And not to mention, the stuff with Cena post-SummerSlam. Like, you had Wade Barrett in that was it a fatal 5-way, a 5-pack challenge, or a 6-pack challenge at Night of Champions? The WWE Championship? Should have had Barrett win the title there. Did they do that? No, of course not. Then you move on. You have the stuff with Barrett and Orton for the WWE Championship, and Cena's the referee. That was at Survivor Series, I believe, and all I remember from it was nothing positive. Cena's the referee in the WWE Championship main event between Wade Barrett and Randy Orton. The whole match with Barrett and Orton, those two were irrelevant. All commentary was talking about was Cena. All the camera was showing was John Cena. And no one remembers the outcome of the match. All people remember is that Barrett didn't win and that Cena was the referee. Like, I don't remember how Barrett came away with the loss. I don't remember how. But I just know he didn't win the title and Cena was the referee. Because this whole thing was all about Cena. All the Nexus was a group of young guys who were all just there to make Cena look like a top dog. That's all it was. Then the Nexus itself, granted, this is 2010. This is John Cena at a point where many people have turned off by this point. WWE, you've had Cena as the top guy outside of his injury period at the end of 2007, where he was out for 3 to 4 months with his patella, whatever he injured. He was out for a little time period. But realistically, you've had Cena as top guy for 5 years. You get into a point where the kiddiness is really amping up by 2010. Like, we've come off Cena Orton for literally 8 months in 2009, hit 2010, and it's this G-rated Cena taking down the Nexus week in, week out. It's just unbearable. And then you get to TLC 2010. The infamous John Cena, Wade Barrett chairs match main event. Boy, oh boy, this was... Oh my god, this was something else. This really was. It was Cena taking out the whole Nexus throughout the night, and then you literally get to the main event. Cena Barrett. And the match itself is fine, but all I remember, and all anyone remembers, is the ending. John Cena beats Wade Barrett, and then drags him over to the aisleway, or next to the aisleway on the stage, like the base bit of the staging, places him under a little crate, and then pulls down a whole thing of chairs from the ceiling. Chairs rain down on Wade Barrett, and Wade Barrett is literally buried. Okay? Wade Barrett is buried for real. And that was the Nexus angle. From there, they spent this nothing time period from TLC through, God, like what? After WrestleMania 27 in 2011, that whole time period of nothing happening. Genuinely, it was a nothing period for the company. You had The Core, which, I didn't want to remember that. Who was in The Core? Wade Barrett. Was that Ezekiel Jackson? Was he in the core? I don't even bloody remember. It was Justin Gabriel, Heath Slater, Wade Barrett, and there was someone else. I don't even really care. And then there was the new Nexus with CM Punk. And the whole thing was just a disaster. They were trying to do spin-off Nexus clans. And Cena was just the top guy, facing The Miz in the main event of WrestleMania. Like, the whole Nexus angle itself, it could have been booked so much better than it was. If you want to see good bookings, watch Adam Blompier's booking of the Nexus. His one was really good, but on the whole, it was just 6 to 7 months of just atrocious booking. It was these guys who were not credible at all, okay? They'd been on a season of NXT, which was the rookie pro system, season 1 of NXT. So it was the only matchup combination that made sense was Bryan and Miz, because they had beef and that led to a feud. But then it was like, Wade Barrett and Chris Jericho? Was that a combination? And like, it was just this rookie pro system. So like, none of the guys took the rookies seriously. Everyone was watching for the pros, if they were watching at all. No one was watching for these rookies. So you get these rookies who no one knows, beating up, as I said, Bret Hart, Vince McMahon, Triple H, Sheamus, Orton, everyone and their dog. Like, that whole thing made me not like them right away. And that was like on the first night. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I like that they're trying a different angle, but what is this? What? If you're going to debut new talents, why are they all dominating and beating up main eventers every week? That makes the main eventers look terrible. They're being destroyed by literally rookies. The whole thing was dumb. The gimmick itself, the Nexus with the t-shirt and the theme song was sick for the Nexus. And the shirt was fine. It was very basic, but it was a fine little look for them. But who was in it, how it was booked, the fact that it was all to make Cena look good, the fact that it was all the WWE was in 2010, it was all Cena versus the Nexus for every pay-per-view from literally July through December. Like 6 months of Cena versus the Nexus. There's only so much I can take, there's only so much us as fans can take. I guarantee you this angle drove away plenty of, like, hundreds of thousands of viewers. Plenty of people have just turned off watching this because this was insufferable. Kept going and going and going and going to a point where no one wanted to watch anymore. Literally, by the end of this, Wade Barrett couldn't look any worse. This took Wade Barrett from a guy who was going to be the next, like, 5-time World Heavyweight Champion to a guy who, he was a mid-carder for the next couple of years. He was Bad News Barrett, which was an amazing gimmick, but the company never took that seriously. He was literally, like, the fourth wheel of the League of Nations, and then he got released. That was Wade Barrett after this Nexus angle. This, safe to say, killed his career before it really even got underway. This killed the career of Ryback to an extent as well. Him and Skip Sheffield, that was a disaster. When they got Husky Harris involved. I think Husky Harris was involved in the new Nexus with Michael McGillicuddy, and it was just a disaster. Like, the way they took the guys who were on NXT Season 1 and 2 and brought them in under the Nexus banner. Like, the new Nexus, the core, the Nexus, all of it was a disaster. All of it. It was just this dead time period in the WWE. After WrestleMania 26, through CM Punk's pipe bomb, nothing happened in the company. Nothing was worth watching in that time period. Like, Edge's World Heavyweight Champion on SmackDown was fine, but realistically, nothing in that time period is worth going back and watching. Dead set nothing. Like, I tried watching stuff back in that time period, and I think this is crap. This is terrible, because it was Kane and Undertaker for the world title, bald old man Kane against Undertaker in 2010, part-time Undertaker. That was the world title picture. And then on Raw, it was the Nexus every week in like 18 segments. Literally, if you watch TV back from this time, it was garbage Divas matches. Michael Cole is the anonymous Raw GM spokesperson. Terrible tag team division. The tag team champions were Santino Marella and Vladimir Kozlov. Okay, the WWE Championship picture was Randy Orton and Sheamus for literally 5 months. There was Cena vs. the Nexus in 17 segments each week. And then all the other main eventers were fighting the Nexus for no reason. And that was your show. Great from WWE. Just, this whole video, it's about the Nexus angle and Cena, but realistically about WWE in 2010 as a whole. It was so bad. I can't believe how bad it was. It was garbage. WWE in 2010. Could it have been worse? I asked that question. It was so bad. So bad. I don't know. I'm gonna get out of here. Basically, to wrap this video up, the Nexus. It was booked terribly. In the long run, it was a complete failure. Having rookies who no one knows beating up all of your established main event talent for months does not make them look good. It makes no sense. Like, it was just a disaster. Having Cena just destroy them all, that didn't help either. And then having all the Nexus spin-offs, the core, the new Nexus, Were those really required? Why was CM Punk leading a Nexus clan? Why was Cena in the Nexus? What was this? This whole thing was a disaster. It ruined Wade Barrett and Ryback or Skip Sheffield's careers. They could have been main eventers for life, but this ruined them. The rest of the guys were just jobbers, so realistically, that's the video. Be sure to like, comment, and sub. The Nexus angle sucked. WWE in 2010 sucked. This whole thing was crap. So that's the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Like, comment, sub. See ya.